There is one immutable fact about GMing that will never change. It's that no matter what your experience level is, you can never fully prepare for every possibility. That's where improv comes in. Improvising is all about making the most out of the unexpected and leveraging it to create something better. A simple and practical way to improv is to remember the yes and approach. Yes, you acknowledge what your players want to do, and you add on to it. What this does is that it shows them that their wild ideas are welcome at the table, and puts you in the position to build on it and allow your adventure to unfold. Remember, as game masters, we're providing the what, the obstacles, the problems, the challenges that the players are facing. It's your players that figure out how that stuff gets solved. But their input doesn't necessarily mean everything's going to turn out well. And that's why there's a second part to this that's essential for us to grasp. It's yes and, but then. Yes, you acknowledge what your players say, and you add on to it. But then, something unexpected happens, which opens up a lot of possibilities for us to play with, both the positive and the negative. Now, the only way to get comfortable with improv is to actually practice it. I'm not gonna lie, when something happens unexpected, sometimes we panic, and the tendency is to either over-describe things or get stuck entirely. So here are a few areas that we could get stuck in, and some tips on how to get unstuck. Locations. When your players decide to check out that area that doesn't exist yet, here's what you can do. Describe the scene by picking one of the 5 senses, then catch their attention with something interesting. Items. When your players want to look at that shiny object that you just made up. Same thing with locations. Pick one of the 5 senses, except this time, attract them with details, whether they're intricate details or very minute details. And lastly, what you can do with items is nudge your players to action. NPCs. When your players want to talk to that rando in the corner, so first thing I would do is 1, describe your NPC's appearance. And while I'm kind of buying time and kind of figuring out how this person looks like, I'm trying to think of a name as fast as possible. Now, some people have different tactics to try to pull off their NPCs, and that's totally fine. The point is, have something ready for the inevitability that you're going to need an NPC on the fly. And of course, everybody's favorite thing to improv, dialogue. When your rando has to have that conversation with the players. Now, my little cheat for this is to think of a character that exists, then think of a mood that they're in. What this does is that it gives you a frame of reference for how a particular character would act, think, and speak, and by giving them some sort of mood, it also changes the dynamic of how they interact with the players. So once you have these 2 things in place, now you can imagine how that character would act and speak and think towards your players. Now, the thing with improv is that each of these things may just very well be one-offs, and that's fine. So you don't really have to stress too much about integrating these into your campaign. But in the off chance that this becomes something the players will actually love, here's a few things you can do. For a location, give your players a reason to go back to that location. Do they get something important? Is this a place of rest? Is this a place to find information? Make the location interesting. Now, you don't have to solve it right then and there. You can always bring your players back to it after they leave. If it's an item that is very interesting, a simple thing that you can do is 1, trigger a side quest altogether. Try to find the original owner. Try to bring it to the original owner. Maybe the original owner needs this item delivered to some place. Whatever it is, make the item the central theme for this side quest. Or very simply, find a way to get your players to own that item. Now, if it's an NPC, one of the best things you can do with NPCs is to turn them into adventure hooks. Because the players are already invested and interested in this character, you can actually get that NPC to ask them to do a favor, some sort of quest, some sort of thing that they need help with, and voila, you have an adventure path that's ready to go. Now, while editing this video, I realized improv does something incredibly important to your game, and that is, it makes the world that you're playing in feel organic, which in turn makes the players feel like they're more immersed in a dynamic world. If for that reason alone, I'd say that improv is one of the greatest skills that any GM can have in their arsenal. Now, improv can feel very overwhelming. There's a lot to unpack, but if you're looking for a great place to start, I suggest checking out this video right over here. Improv is daunting at first, but truth be told, you don't need to take acting classes to get better at it. You just need to practice. Acknowledge what your players say, add on to it, and occasionally throw in something unexpected. By doing so, you'll not only get more comfortable with improv, but you'll also be creating a much more engaging and surprising adventure in the process.